How you guys doing today? Today, me and Chris will be breaking down my weekly picks from the technical side and the fundamental side and the financial side. All right. So the first company me and Chris will be covering, it would be Play, which is Dave and Buster's. If you guys don't understand what Dave and Buster's is, Dave and Buster's is basically a Chuck E. Cheese for grown-ups and kids at the same time, and have games you can eat, you can drink, you can be in position to play with your kids at the same time. So we'll get right into it. So Dave and Buster's is the first company that we'll be breaking down. So when we're looking at the overview, the things that I like to look at is ownership. When I'm looking at ownership, I want to see what mutual fund companies and institutions actually have a stake in company, because that's very important. You want to know who has ownership in the company. So when you're looking at these companies, when it comes to ownership, it's very important. So when I'm looking at it, 9 times out of 10, you'll see Vanguard. Vanguard is a very special company. Fidelity, many other heavy hitters is in the Russell 2000. They taking up shares, and they taking up Lakers and Dave and Buster's. When I go to the institutional side of things, this is where it gets very important. You have BlackRock, right? BlackRock is a major institution in the world that have over $10 trillion in assets of people money around the world. So that lets you know that people really believe in this company. Have Morgan and Stanley. You can go down and down and down and down the chain. It's very important that you understand this. You want to know who have ownership and how many shares and what percentage. As you notice, BlackRock actually owns 14%, right? They got over what? If you start calculating so many shares. So that's very important. And their current price for Dave & Buster's is $36.42. And we want to see what the top analyst thinks about Dave & Buster's. What do they think the upside is, and what do they think the downside is? They think that is a moderate buy. The high of 57, the low of 38, which is the current price is what right now? We just went over the current price is actually $36.42. So it's look like, to me, I don't think they're going to be earnest when they have their earnings, when earnings come up. So I think that we could see a decline of $10 to $20 because of COVID-19, the variant, and all of this. It's throwing off a business. If it's throwing off a business, nobody will be able to make sales and put themselves in position to be successful. So that's why it's very important when you're investing in these companies, you understand what company you're investing in. So Dave & Buster's weekly pick, I like to put in. I can see it dropping 5, 10, maximum of $20. I can see it dropping all the way back down to $26, all the way down to $16 a share. So Dave & Buster's spiel, once again, y'all got to understand the ownership of the company. It's very important. BlackRock, Vanguard, many of these high-profile institutions actually own shares in this company. So the next company that I would like to dissect, before we move on, I want to cover one more thing. When we're looking at the financials of this company, it's very important that we understand what we're looking at. So when we go to the financials, we want to look at the cash flow, we want to look at the income statement. So Dave & Buster's Entertainment reported revenues of $436 million in 2021. That's a decrease of 61% from 2018. So they're heading in a downtrend because of the activity of COVID-19. So it actually affected the business in a major way. So when we look at the balance sheet total assets of $2.4 billion in 2021, that actually was an increase. Wow, that's a shocker. Cash flow to me is very important. I don't care which company you're in, you need free cash. Free cash to hire the bright minds, free cash to open up different things, bring in innovative ideas. So cash flow, they reported cash flow negative. That's a decrease of 118%. It was negative $49 million for the year. That's bad. So actually, all these signs that point towards you put in short in the stock. So when it comes to earnings just fell off. So earnings is a decrease of more than 262%. So all of these signs are pointing towards you put in and you shorten the stock. I can see it rebounding in the next couple of years, but right now, no way, because of the pandemic, COVID-19, different variant. Nobody is really going out and enjoying themselves. So the next stock that I like to cover is very important to me is Kroger's. Kroger's is very important. All right. So Kroger's is one of those food chains that everybody love and everybody like to look at. I like it. It's very innovative and it's very welcoming. Every time I go on Kroger's, I love it. I love the environment, the people. They treat me really well. Good products, good food, good services. But when it comes to the overview of the company, when we're looking at ownership, it's very important. You want to know who has ownership. Vanguard, once again, right? Vanguard, American Fund Insurance. You got Fidelity, once again. You can go on and on and on. JP Morgan, right? You want to know who's the heavy hitters inside this. And also then you want to look at the institutions. Because if you can look at the institution, you will understand that who has a stake in this company and why it's important. Once again, we got Vanguard, and what do we see? Berkshire Hathaway, which is a Warren Buffett. He got over 61 million shares, over 8.2% outstanding, right? And then we have BlackRock. Once again, when I told you, if BlackRock have ownership in the company, that means this company is very special. They put their money in a company that's going to bring in residual income, which is in the form of dividends, right? So I have a call on Kroger's. I would like to take it out a couple of months, but for a long term, this is a good buy. This is a good hold, 10 to 20 years. This is a stock that you can pass down to your grandkids and your great grandkids and then to put them in position to be successful. Kroger's is where it's at. All right, so now we want to go look at the financial side of Kroger's. We want to know why it makes sense. If we're looking at the financial side of Kroger's, it's very important to understand what's on the books, how much cash flow they have, the income statement. If you look at Kroger's, they had a revenue of $132 billion in 2021. That's major. There was an increase of 8% from 2012. So net income grew 35% to $2.6 billion. That's major. So even during the pandemic, they were still able to hold their own and put themselves in position and make the shareholders happy. So the balance sheet of Kroger's, their total asset is $48.7 billion. An increase of 30% from 2018. So Kroger's is heading in a good position. So now I feel a little bit better when I'm saying I'm gonna put a call on my bad long term. Cash flow. Kroger's reported cash flow of $6.8 billion in 2021, almost 100% compared to 2018. All of these are pointing towards Kroger heading in a great position, great leadership, great products, and great good, right? So when it comes to earning, Kroger's earning was an increase, right? An increase of 205% from 2018. So everything on Kroger's add up. You know who has ownership. So when I do my call, I feel comfortable, right? So when I'm into Kroger's, I'm like, wow, everything lined up with Kroger. So now I feel comfortable when I make my position. Kroger's is where it's at. And this is where I'm gonna invest my money at for long term so I can be able to build wealth for myself, my kids, and my grandkids. So the next stock that we're gonna cover on my list is ZS. ZS stock is very important that we understand what we invest in. Zscaler is a cloud-based information security company. As you know, since the pandemic, is more people online. So when it comes to security, this is one of the companies that you want to invest in, right? So when we line it up, we look at the overview. Once again, we want to look at ownership. And if ownership adds up, this put us in position to be successful. I like ownership and I like where it's heading as a company. And I'm gonna constantly keep taking advantage of these things. If I could take advantage of ownership, that put me in position to be successful. Ownership is everything. So the ownership in this company, once again, we have Vanguard. We got First Trust, which is a NASDAQ security ETF. That's important. If it's inside a security ETF, people believe in it. So people is going to invest in it for long term because more and more people is actually going to be online and so computers going to need to be secured. And this is what it's about. So now we're going to look at the institution side. That was the mutual fund side. We got Vanguard, BlackRock, Chase, JP Morgan, once again, Capital Research, State Street. These are all heavy hitters. Fidelity. If these companies are willing to invest in this stock, they'll let you know that the stock is going to move in a great direction. You just got to give it time. Wealth takes time. 3 Ps. Patient, positive, and being persistent will actually get you over the top. And as you see Friday, it was up $5.20, and the regular hours, that's pretty good. That's decent. After hours up 59 cents, so for the day it's up $5.79. So wealth take time. So this is sellers, right? So one more thing, this ticket number is ZS. And then now we want to look at the financial statements of this company. This is very important that you understand what you're working with: the income statement, the balance sheet, the cash flow, and earnings. So they reported revenue of $431 million, right? An increase of 243% since 2020. So even during the pandemic, they were still able to make money and make the shareholders happy. All right, so when it comes to the balance sheet, once again, they reported total assets of $1.8 billion, an increase of almost 900%. That's major. So the shareholders is happy, the new investors is happy. So at this point, more people want to invest into the company. So as they invest in the company, the volume of the company go up and the share price actually increases through the roof. Cash flow is major to me. If a company don't have free cash, I don't want to invest into it because it might be on the brink of bankruptcy. That means the CEO and the CFO is running the company in the wrong direction. All right, so they reported $73.3 million in cash flow in 2020. That was actually 1,417% increase. That's major. You're not going to see things like this for the rest of your life and when it comes to investing. All right, so now we want to look at earnings. All right, so they had earnings. The earnings was actually somewhat of a small decrease, but it wasn't a full percentage. But you expect things like that to come around every now and then. So one more company that we're going to check out is going to be Oracle, right? And nobody never heard of Oracle. Oracle is a very important company. Ticker number is ORCL. And when you're looking at Oracle, remember you're looking at wealth. Oracle is a computer technology company. And once again, I want to look at the overview of the company. Right now, the current price is $90. I want to look at the overview. I want to see who has ownership. That's major to me. If none of the big heavy hitters or the big hedge fund or institution is investing into Oracle, why would I put my money into it? Once again, we have Fidelity and Vanguard. These are heavy hitters. I'm telling you this for a reason. You need to go research what they have under their umbrella. What they're investing in, put you in position, you can mimic that. All right, so when it comes to the institution, we have Vanguard. Once again, we have BlackRock, State Street. The same institution is constantly repeating itself. And then we have Fisher Investment. So you go study these institutions so you can see what companies they're investing in. You might be able to find new innovative companies that you might not see on the market right now because it's not glamorous for people to invest in, but you could take advantage because these institutions and mutual funds are actually taking advantage of it. So this is my spiel for when it comes to investing in these companies. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna turn it over to Chris. He's gonna do the technical side of the company. He's gonna chart them. He's gonna let you know what the averages is for the days, for the week, for the month. He's gonna break it down to a good term. So I'm off from IG Live. We're gonna convert back to Zoom. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
All right, everybody. How y'all doing? First and foremost, we're gonna start off with this David Buster's.
What's the ticket number for David Buster's, Chris?
Play, PLAY.
Nice.
All right. So right here we have it on the yearly daily, and I went on ahead and took the liberty of go ahead and pre-charting this out, letting you see the important resistance and support areas. As y'all can see, currently where we are at with this company, it just recently came off of a high of around, let's see, yeah, 51.73, and ever since they hit that high, they've been on a downtrend, right?
So what is considered a downtrend?
Basically when these highs become lower, right? You can see on this trend line, like they wasn't able to keep this uptrend going. It started consolidating to the side, basically. In a sense, it made a descending triangle. But these areas of support right here around $40, they are very important areas because it had several times where it bounced off of those areas right here, right? So now that those areas have been broken, they are becoming previous areas of support turned into resistance, right? now we have played. Well, David Buster just going on a constant downtrend, but it found support around this $32 area, right? Made a little push higher. Met this EMA line, SMA line, and got rejected, right? Pushed right back down to this area. Push back up.
Chris is breaking down Dave and Busters for you, ladies and gentlemen, giving you past support, past resistance. He's trying to put you in position to understand how the stock move up and down, and it have to find resistance or it have to find support. And then you can chart patterns off of that. And then now you can track the past and you can track the future. So you can basically predict which way it's going to go based off of news and based off of chart patterns. Go ahead, Chris.
Right. Okay. So, like I was saying, basically where we're at right now is found another support off of this $32 area and made a push higher and found that same resistance area around $38. And since then, it's just been chopping to the side, consolidating. So, just like Claudia said earlier with his position on this, he believes this can drop a good $10. And I went ahead and drew a trend line of what I think going into next week, what it could possibly do, right? Since if it doesn't find support off of this SMA line and have a push higher, then I see this going down to about $32. And in the long run of things, if it breaks that, say you're looking at about, around like the $25 mark, $24 mark, find the next level of support. And that's just me. But this is something we want to pay close attention to going in trying to trade this. And you just want to be careful because there's definitely room to the downside. There's also potential it could find support and push towards the outside.
Explain to them what Kroger's is and let them know that Berkshire Hathaway is one of the major holders in Kroger. So Warren Buffett has his eye on this for many reasons. This company is very stable and it's essential.
Right. As you can see, we can actually shoot back right quick once you see some previous data. Make sure I got these dates right. All right, so I marked this area over here in March of 2020 when the pandemic actually went on lockdown. As you can see, Kroger's actually went up while a lot of other companies declined, right? A lot of people, they needed grocery, they needed products, people were buying up tissue, soap, all different types of things. And in hindsight, like this company was like a competitor at the time with Walmart, right? So ever since then, I've noticed that it's had this area around $38, right? That it's been hitting, but it eventually broke through that after it found some strength and it bounced off this trend line, right? Excuse me. All right. So yeah, it bounced off this EMA line, and it's just been hitting this top of this area, right? Just been like a very choppy situation. But eventually it broke through, and ever since then it's been on an uptrend, right?
So you saying it's making new higher, lower highs?
Yes, it's been making higher lows.
Higher lows.
Yeah, and I drew this channel trend line to let y'all see how it's just been moving up since the past couple of months, since basically the summer started.
Perfect. So it was an increased demand because people still was at home working from home. So the kids was at home. More food is being have to be produced. More food have to be delivered and consumed. All right, perfect. I love it.
Right. And long term, this is a great company to have. For it's like where it could be going right now, I see signs of a little pullback, maybe down to like the $45 area. Hold on, let's see. About, let's see, about 45, 90, 46. You can see a slight pullback there, find some support, maybe get a push higher, retest this 47 on 99, possibly turn into 48, get a break and retest. All right. Kardec, can you tell them about the next company?
Next company that we're going to cover is the third company. This one I really like. We're going to do Jinko Solar, JKS. Jinko Solar is the number one producer and solar panels and things like that, not in the United States, but also across the globe, which is the world. So if you want to invest in a top company when it comes to solar panel and things like this would be a company to look at, and Chris will show you why. We want to look at it on a 2-year time frame, and we want to see the growth.
We have Jinko Solar here. All right. So, from what I've noticed, since it's hit this high of about, had this all-time high of around $90.20, it's been like chopping in this channel for a little bit since last year, right? Nice little big area of consolidation, right? Tried to make some attempts to push higher around this it's about $70 area, 70. I'll say that back up. Let's say between like $75 to $80 area. That $5 spread, it's been chopping, hitting resistance around there. Tapped it about 3 times, and it started falling down, pushing down. Went on a bearish trend, ended up bottoming out around $30. Ended up finding some support, and now it's in a position where it's making pushes higher back to these $60 areas. So for me, judging based off of where it is right now, I would see if it could hold up around this $50 area. Make sure it has some support off of it. Maybe get a push higher so it can break and retest that $60 area.
So do you projecting that it's going to touch previous highs at the rate that it's going, or would you use other indicators to tell if it's oversold or overbought?
I would use other indicators to tell me if it's oversold or overbought. Let me put this off. Currently, where it's at right now, RSI is about a little bit over 50. So it's in a fair value range, but I believe if it can find support, and if the futures look good, and any news that come out, any catalyst, macroeconomic news, could probably help it push itself higher to retest this $60 area. And let me see, they have an average of $3.79 ATR. I can see it pushing up if it stays strong. It looks like it's even trying to form an inverse head and shoulders almost.
One thing that I noticed on here, Chris, is like you're saying, it tried to retest resistance a few times, but I seen a few breakouts, and then it said, you know what, not today, and it reversed and it came back down. I like that.
Right. Yeah, like I said, just judging off this previous data, I noticed that it touched this line of 50 around about 3 times right here. Price action right here, and then just recently came into it again right here. So that's why I was just saying this 50 is a good support. If it can hold true to that and actually get some good bouncing and get the push higher, you can see a break and retest of this 60, and then eventually probably get back up to this $75 area, you know. So I will watch this, make sure it can just hold this trend, you know, Anything is possible.
Right. Like once I said, when people go through their due diligence and understand what the company has and what the company can offer, it will put them in a position to be successful to take this company further, and they can add it to their portfolio if they like it. But I always try to tell people buy it at a reasonable price. Do your due diligence, and it will be able to build you up over a long period of time. So the next stock that we're going to cover, Chris is going to cover, is Oracle.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, so if you don't know anything about Oracle, it's a technology-based company. As we move forward as a society, everything is dependent on technology. I like Oracle. I like it on the call side, but Chris will explain to you on a call and on a put, reverse. It can be a possible reverse, and also support and resistance. Go ahead and take it over from here, Chris.
All right. So, like you said, with technology advancing every year, these are the companies you really want to pay attention to, right? These companies that are technology based, and like with Oracle, what I've noticed so far, I don't know this company personally, but it's been trending on this channel, right? I drew this trend line. It's constantly making higher highs and lower highs, right? And it recently just came into this resistance pocket of about $91, and it's actually tested it about 3 times. So what I've noticed is that the trend is starting to slow up as far as like strength. It's getting a little bit overextended. You can see like, maybe a slight pullback around this $85 area. If these SMA lines doesn't help the candles find a bounce. So this is another thing I would just look out for. If you're feeling bearish about this, look to play the downside to about the $85 area. Maybe that's your target. Find a bounce off of that. Get a push higher, retest this $91 area. That'd be a great time to buy in for calls. Maybe swing some calls out. Maybe get a break and retest of that $91 area.
I can see that happening. And like I said, I'm still bullish on it. I think they're going to smash expectation when it comes to earning. And I think they still are in a space that tech is actually running the economy right now, because COVID-19 is not over. So, we can always revert back to more technology. Even though we were using it at a higher rate, we can be using it at a much higher rate, because if we all are working from home, ordering from home, everything is ran from a platform, a computer, cell phone, tablet, using computers. So one of the companies like this will actually benefit from the most. All right, so my whole thing is I like calls on it. Like I try to tell people, do your due diligence. When you're doing contracts, try to give it time. If you're not giving it time, you're scalping a day trade, and that's cool as well. But remember, if you're scalping, your scalp can actually turn into a day trade if you don't like the way it's looking. So the next company we're going to be covering is ticker number is ZS. All right, so I like this company. Before Chris gets into his technical analysis, I like this company on the flip side. I think it's oversold. I think it reached its top. Even though Friday and a few days it still was running up, I still have it for a 6 to 8 weeks stretch on my put, and I'm looking forward to come down. Like I said, I have 3 exit points, and once it comes to those points, I will sell my contracts off in the 3s, because I have many contracts, so I sell them off by the 3s. So Chris, break down your technical analysis of the company, ticker number ZS. Appreciate it.
All right, got you. All right, so what I've noticed off of previous data, has a couple of support areas around this 160, right? Recently broke through that, right? Made higher highs. Had a little bit of a break and retest here around the 220 area, right? Found some support off of this SMA. Made a push higher, and just been rocketing after that, right? All right, so the reason I put this information on the screen is because I noticed once it got into this area, it began to consolidate, right? In some sense, I guess you could draw like a flag, right? Like it'd be considered a flag from this swing high right here into this consolidation into another swing high. But what I've noticed is between these 2 days right here, this Monday and this Tuesday, they had a $8 gap up, right? They're closed.
Can you explain what a gap up is to the people that don't understand what a gap up is, and then you can transition back into
right. Okay. So a gap up is basically when the price of a stock has a tremendous jump in price, right? Like for instance, if a stock jumps from like $100 to $103 overnight without no significant explanation as to the reason why it did that. It could be earnings, could be somebody bought some shares, sold some shares, like anything could be a catalyst for it. But I've noticed that it had this gap up right here, right? And said to myself, I was like, wow, okay, this thing is just continuing to move higher. And the reason I put this move was overextended, need a market correction, because I felt like at some point you was gonna see a sell-off, right? It's just been like moving so high, like to a point where it's got to have some type of pullback, right? Like the SMA line is so far away from it. Like I just see it like eventually having a pullback. So what I did was I drew like a line to see where the potential of this pullback could go if it starts to have some sort of a sell-off. And usually when they have gap ups, like they like to get filled depending on like the significant, I guess, spread of the gap in price. So I at least say it'll have somewhat of a pullback, maybe at least to the $2.80, $280 level right here. Maybe find some support and then make a push higher. If that breaks that, I say your next support is around this. Maybe you catch a support round here if the SMA line catches up. Maybe you catch support around 260 and then get that push higher. But as of right now, this move, I feel like it's overextended and it needs somewhat of a market correction and a reset.
Basically saying it reached its top. It's been running, so eventually it's going to have to find a level of support.
Right.
And so your trajectory is saying that it's going to turn back to a level of support that it once hit.
Correct.
All right. So CS, ladies and gentlemen, we're looking to put puts in on it. Remember, by time, because the more time you have, the less data works against you. But as you move forward on your data when it comes to option contract, you're losing money daily. So I like it in the form of buying time and making money off of it. So this is ZS. And my closing remarks is I want you guys to understand we're not a financial advisor. Everything that we do is educational based. Do your own due diligence, look into these companies, understand what you're investing in, and put yourself in position to be patient, positive, and persistent. And like I said, it's educational based, but you still can make profits and proceeds from this. Investment involves serious risks, right? You can lose capital, right? So make sure you understand what you're doing and how you're doing it, and get with a professional. If you need educational coaching or anything like that, get with somebody that fits your needs. So let's constantly keep on building our knowledge, and let's keep building our platform. And you guys try to take care and enjoy the rest of your day.